and YouTube and all the other companies out there are learning about the customers and are willing to sell you the data. There's a free site out there, and I'll put the link out on AK BizPlan. If anybody, you know, every year you hear, go out and get your copies of your credit report, correct? They're free. Don't believe those dancing guys in the airport on TV. Don't go to that channel and never pay any money for your credit reports. They are free, okay? So go get them. But there's another report that you need to go get, and it's your LexisNexis account. Anybody ever gotten a report from LexisNexis? Well, it's free. I'll put the link out there. You have to send them 2 forms of ID, like a copy of your passport and your driver's license. It takes about a month, and they send it to you in a printed product. It's not online. Mine was this thick. It was about 50, 75 pages. And it shocked me what was out there as far as demographics. And LexisNexis is selling this information to people. Talk about identity theft. In this report, had my name, Social Security number, date of birth, every place I'd ever lived, every car I ever owned, every phone number I ever had, every place I ever worked, how much I made at every place I ever worked, anything, every property I ever owned. It went on and on. Every car, phone number, you name it, was there. That's just on the first 3 pages. Then it starts going into, if we need to find Scott, how can we find him in case he's hiding out? It went out to then the next 50 pages was a family decision tree that went out from me to one particular example, to my ex that I've been divorced from for 25 years, her current husband of 25 years, his brother, his children, and their children in Oklahoma. Okay, thus it went out from every person I'd have a relationship with, and it went out 8 degrees of separation in all those directions. I found out, just on getting that list, I have a former relative on the other side of Anchorage here. Who would have thunk it? The point is, it's a very, very troubling report. I'll put the link out there on the site. Click it, get it, it's free. If you want to see what the world is selling about you, okay? And the other parts, when we're looking at data coming in, do you want to be a part of this, part of these kinds of data groups? They know when you were born, and they know when you were 13, and all of a sudden your family gets, oh, your children need braces. How did they know? They're monitoring you all along. So what do you think I got in the mail on my 50th birthday?
Viagra.
No, not Viagra. No.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I use the IV type. Just hook it up for a. Never mind. Okay. All right. What do you think I got on my 50th? AR membership. Okay. And I thought they had tracked me on 10 different places I lived, and got to me where I was currently living, and he was 50. All right. Well, homie don't join any organization that has the word retired in it. So even though they've changed their name from an acronym to ARP, okay? No, I just didn't like that track and it made me nervous. So get your LexisNexis. The point is that understanding the demographics in there, they know who you are and where you've been, okay? Customer-oriented, determining the market and where it's going. Let's buzz on. We got some more of that? Did we just see this? Oh, behavior. Psychographics. What does your group think? I bet I'm in some database. They punch the button for bleeding heart liberals. My picture's going to come up, okay? And potentially a voting record, even though I'm listed as an independent in Alaska. That's just so I can go harass the Republicans and vote for the wrong person in the primary. You know, do those just to toy with the owls of the world out there. I told Al this last week. We had a discussion on last time we had a large vote coming through, and he goes, Al, you know I'm going to cancel your vote. So that was the deal. Psychographics. What do your customers think, and is what they think important to your product? Okay. Naming your business. Who are you and what do you do? Remember we talked yesterday about getting those 3 things, domain, license, and LLC all at the same time? But if you're trying to figure out the name of your business, the simplest way to look at this is who are you and what do you do? Okay? That's what 95% of businesses are. Who are you and what do you do? Joe's Pizza, Alaska Pacific. Yes, who are you? We're Alaska Pacific and we are a university. So you go out there, Joe's Pizza. So most businesses in the area here follow this region because you want to be local. You want to go, oh, there's Joe, and he makes pizza. Sicily's Pizza, Papa Joe's Pizza. You know, we can name every business all up and down Tudor here. They generally follow this mentality. And there's when you're deciding the name of your business, you need to go out and snatch that domain, license, and LLC at the same time as you're trying to figure it out. What can sell? Now, Fredrickson Pizza just wouldn't work. Okay? It's just, it doesn't. So when I started my music publishing company, Scott Music, it was pretty handy. Okay? So, and I have I'm also an artist, and it's Scott Arts is my link. So, but when I started doing my puzzle business, it just wasn't sinister enough, so it's Diabolical Puzzles. I'm diabolical, and I make puzzles. Okay? So, Scott's Puzzles, it just sounds, you know, where are my tights when I want to do that? So here we talked yesterday about some people, what if the business fails and you lose your name, okay? And it goes away. Moog eventually bought his name back before he died. Ray Kurzweil doesn't care. And Apple, Steve bought it back with a vengeance, okay, when he got there. How to build a brand. Business name that's easy to remember, describes your business. Again, who are you and what do you do? Create a logo that symbolizes your business. Well, let me back up with naming your products then. So how do we understand when somebody goes, Amazon, what do? Everybody knows that. Or you go Google, or you go Yahoo, or you go GoDaddy, or you go, we all know what they do. We have name recognition for what that product is. How did they get that when they're not following the tenet of who are you and what do you do? How did they get that? They paid for it. They bought our recognition. 10 years ago when Google really started to ramp it up, you remember the Super Bowl ads? Google was out there hammering on those Google ads. Yahoo was out there when Google and Yahoo and all those were trying to fight for supremacy. And AOL, Time Warner, remember before the merger? So it was Google and AOL all fighting for your eyeball time. So that's the key. Unless you have deep pockets, you can't afford to buy the recognition. You've got to start to generate it right from the top with something catchy. Who are you and what do you do? Or it lays out where your business is. Anchorage, something. Okay? Create a logo that symbolizes your business. That when somebody can look at your logo and kind of get an idea of what you do. Okay? Does it have something to do with mountains? One of the problems here is, anybody seen the APU logo? Well, it has these spiky things, okay? When everybody came on, I go, what are those? Y'all seen the logo? Ross, can you bring the sign in that's right out in front? Quickly. Oh, here. Here it is. Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Ross. What's your logo? Alaska Pacific University. See these spiky things? I always thought when they came in, oh, it's the Chugach, it's the mountains, it's a representation of them. Everybody thought it was the mountains. No, it's not. It's kayak fronts. Bows, or whatever they're called, I don't know. Okay? And we're trying to figure out, is that the best logo from...
How does that say APU?
Exactly. What do kayak fronts have to do with us being here doing entrepreneurs unless we're doing kayaks? So that's an issue. So the point is that a logo that symbolizes what your business does, something along that line. Develop your good reputation and create brand personality. Okay? If you go out to my Diabolical Puzzle site, you see that there's this little red devil. because he's diabolical, because the logo is devilishly difficult, the puzzles, okay? But the situation, when we worked through that logo, my artist came up, he had this nasty, snarly little devil. It was like, that would scare kids. So we ended up taking the nasty, snarly devil and just making him going, he's a happy, snarly, little devilishly difficult devil, okay? He's kind of fun. And if you go to the website right now, I made him into a 3-part GIF instead of a JPEG, so when you click the site, his little tail goes boop, 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 you know? So it's kind of cheesily cute. Yes, Desiree?
So with the name too, you also want to think about people going to your site because they know how to spell diabolical.
Yes, thank you. Google always spells it correctly for them. Okay? What I found, a quick sidebar here, is somehow, you know, when you get a certain vintage, you go, oh, is Alzheimer's kicking in? Oh no, I'm getting befuddlement, because spelling seems to start, you know, the spell checker sometimes, and the point is that sometimes I'm trying to find a word and I don't even know how the hell to start spelling it. And you put it into the spell checker on the computer, and it's pretty dumb. It doesn't know either. But Google knows how to correct every misspelled word that you want. You know? Almost. Oh, almost. Like we wanted, what was the word we were going for, Al? Ubiquitous. Okay? Does it start with Y-O-U? Or does it start with, you know, Q-U? I don't know. If you typed in either of those, ubiquitous would come up. Because Google's really smart, okay? Brand personality. So Desiree, I don't have to worry about people not spelling, even though they can't, okay? Brand equity. Customers respond to the brand. Here's one of the situations here that's happened recently when General Motors was looking at their brands in the last 3 or 4 years. What brand did they pinch off?
Pontiac.
Yeah, they pinched off that one too, but they also pinched off this one for another reason. Because they pinched off Oldsmobile, because who would buy Oldsmobiles? Old people. It actually has the word old in it. And that's part of the problem. It had the word old in it. So that was pinched off. Another sidebar story. You all know this one. Probably 10 or 12 years ago, Ford Motor Company came out with a car targeted at, their target market was young 20, 30-something businesswomen. Okay? Lindsay Wagner was the car spokesman for this car. Ladies, you need to buy this car. Why did it fail miserably? What was the name of the car? Y'all remember? A car aimed at women called the Probe. What woman is going to buy a car called the Probe? A car that was designed by men, named by men. It's just like that political thing this last week in Washington. They're trying to decide on women's productive rights. Who was there testifying before Congress? All men, an all-men clergy. Let's see. Let me get a panel of 5 celibate men, and let's talk about women's productive rights. Okay? That's really bad branding right there. Okay? And Nike. Nike has customers respond to the brand. You know, Nike is so cool now, they don't even have to say the name of their product anymore. How would you like to have a brand that is so ultimately cool that you can just show these perfectly shaped bodies sweating and doing sports things in slow motion, and the sweat's coming off their face, and they're done, and they bust their chest out, and the tape crosses their chest. And then at the end of that, it just goes, ooh. You know exactly what it is. And it makes that little swoosh sound. Okay? That's our goal, is to develop a product that we don't even have to name ourselves. We just have to go. Or wink. You know? When you talk about, keep an eye on the clock here, communicating, I had an interesting communication lesson here in Alaska, even from an outsider. So we brought in, there were about 30 young native high school students coming in to tour UAA and tour APU and everything else. So we had lunch over here. We're sitting in the next room. And so I'm sitting next to the sponsors of this group. They were coming in from villages I had never heard of, all around. This was a rural Alaskan student trip in here to find where can you go to college. So I'm talking to this young man across the table, and I go, "Are you having a really good time here with us on your tour?"
Yes.
That was the response I was expecting, okay? And he just sat there and looked at me. And I thought maybe he didn't hear me. And I said, "Are you having a good time here on your trip?" I'm trying to draw him out a little bit and let's have a little chat. And he just sat there. And the sponsor leaned over to me, knowing that I was kind of an outsider, and all right, middle-aged white dude, let's just call it out, okay? She leaned over and she said, "He said yes, he's having a grand time." And I looked at her, and she went, Oh, sorry, I felt so on the outside. It's the nonverbal communications from many of the other cultures here in Alaska. Are you having a good time? It was something even more subtle than that, and I didn't see it, and it was just like one of those, I felt so white. Okay? So the point is that that's what we want to end up having is positive that. 4 Ps. We know about our product: meter, create a customer demand; place, where your customer is going to get your product; internet, a shop, somewhere; price, priced effectively. Is there a value to your product? Promotion, advertising, promotion, and publicity. How are we going to do it? These are our 4 Ps. You're going to talk about them forever in your business plans. SWOT analysis. We don't need to go through there. Al already talked about that. Risk analysis or SWOT. There it is right there. Okay? Goals and objectives. When you're setting up for your marketing plan, where have you been, where are you going, and how are you going to get there? That's the whole purpose of our business plan, isn't it? I'm here. I want to get there. Let's set up a process. Okay? External environmental analysis. Again, from your SWOT or your risk. What's the culture? What's the economy doing? What's our culture doing? Okay? The days from the big brick phones to now the little phones, they're going to end up in Mead's watch at some point, the phones, or in our tooth. The phone rings and you just go, "Hello?" It's coming, So we have technology, we have legal issues, and the availability of raw materials. There's an interesting thing. I talked to a gentleman this last week. He's working on a project called geopolymers. Never heard of that before. And they're trying to figure out a way here in Alaska. You have the big coal mines, the big mines down in Haines and some of these places that have these huge pile of tailings. Well, if you add some other things to these tailings, you can mold them with a process, into railroad ties, utilizing this waste product, okay? So the availability of raw materials and technology, could that change the way you're looking at doing business here? Maybe, okay? External, financial resources. What do you have? Your management team. I don't need to beat on these because we've talked about them before today. Principles of selling. Advertising. Let's look at some of the ways that we can get out there, knowing that marketing is the overall umbrella and that advertising is one of the silos, one of the columns underneath the marketing. There's personal selling, there's advertising, there's promotion, there's a bunch of things. So when somebody says, "What are you doing as a marketer?" Here's the umbrella. Marketing is not just advertising. It is not getting a berry company ad phone book thing. It's not just doing personal selling. It's a bunch of things, okay? So we've got advertising, newspapers, geographically based, local markets, and short shelf life, correct? Newspaper comes. How long does a newspaper last? 1 day. It's gone. Ends up in the recycling pile. Magazine has a targeted market. You got to subscribe to that magazine. Long shelf life. And it's called the pass-through rate. Anybody heard that term before? Who has the greatest pass-through rates anywhere on a magazine? The magazine in a doctor's office buys 1 subscription, and maybe 300 people will read that magazine and not pay for it. Okay? That's the pass-through rate. Okay? And so in our office, we read magazines, and we just put them on the table, and everybody passes them around, whoever gets them. So long shelf life and budget flexibility. You get in a national magazine, you can just target Alaska, you can target the West Coast, you can target regions on national magazines. It depends on where your clientele is. Okay? Brochures allows creative flexibility and focused message. Sending out a brochure. Here's Courtney's brochure. Okay? Targeted message, specific for his particular business. Television costs, high, used for brand building, and they're very expensive to do TV. And the problem with TV is you got to hit them again. You got to hit it again. You got to hit it again, okay? Because I have an amazing thumb on my TiVo machine, okay? I know just how many clicks, and I can click it right there to jump into the next show. So how are you going to, if you're advertising this way, how are you going to get your message to me that way? Well, the future of television and movies is what? Product placement, right? So that when your next actor on every show, oh, I'm going to have a drink. They will drink the can like this to make sure that you see the brand. Money changed hands, didn't it? All the time. You see the car they're driving. Every product that you see on every TV show has all been paid for. There's money has changed hands for everything. Okay, high cost, brand building, radio, good creativity. Message can be varied and a short shelf life, must be repeated. We advertise this how many heard the ads on NPR for this? Anybody hear the ads? Thank you, somebody did. Thank you, Steve. Okay, short shelf life, but we advertised over here at APTI. Internet, variety of options, data being collected and measured. We know all about analytics. Newspaper, newsletters, creative options, and blogs. Sometimes your blog could be part of your newsletter, and you end up doing that at the same time, or they can be automatically fed through RSS situations where you can do a blog, it automatically feeds a newsletter or goes to other sites. Direct mail permits precise targeting, but as we get the postal rates up, it's becoming more expensive, isn't it, for direct mail. Results can be measurable. You can send out a specific piece on a specific time to go with a specific address, and you can see how that returns. One of the things that's always gotten me, I read Popular Science magazine or Popular Mechanics, they're all kind of the same. Everybody turn to the back pages of Popular Science magazine, and here are the ads in the back. There were ads I have seen in the back of that magazine that had been running for 20 years. Okay? Send us $12 and we'll send you whatever. Okay? If an ad isn't working, would they discontinue it? So these ads of what sometimes they're selling something for $2 and $12 or something, but if you look at their next time you look at the small ads in the back of those magazines, you'll see a specific postal box, and it has secret codes next to the number that says this specific mailing, this specific magazine, I am testing and coding what the return on my mailing or my magazine is with a specific postal box. Okay? So go in and look at some of those things and utilize those techniques for your business. Infomercials, effective for storytelling. They're very costly, you know, as seen on TV kind of deals. All right, telemarketing. Interactive communications, we hate them, don't they? Do they work? It's an odds game, isn't it? You're going to get somebody like me who's going to literally yell in the phone, take me off your call list. I'm on the federal list. And then I have some words to say, okay? Because I don't like them calling my house. So we're finding out now, I finally got rid of my landline. And I've gone totally digital. What we're going to see now, if some laws don't change soon, we're going to start seeing telemarketers calling our cell phones. Right now it's illegal, but it's still starting to happen because they're using our airtime that we're paying for versus a fee all-encompassing landline. So telemarketers, increased regulation and can be intrusive. Okay? Outdoor advertising, we don't have it here, but in many states, as you know, the highways are littered with signage out there. So phone books, well, the Barry Company's still around trying to alter itself here with the yellow pages and ads like that. But local medium credibility depends on, anybody can buy a full page ad in there, whether you're even a legitimate business or not. And it sometimes can be low cost. But this, as far as in large cities, potentially is a dying business. But it was interesting to find out when I was doing a session someplace else with my students who come from all our adult undergrad population, come from all over Alaska. And we were talking about this, and I said, who is using the yellow pages anymore? Who buys this piece? I thought, it's a dying business. To find out, It's the choice of data hunting if you're in a village. People have the yellow pages out there, and it's used to find businesses out in rural Alaska. And I was, outsider, he learns every day about what's going on here and try to find those demographics and how to work them. So it's still a viable market in many areas of Alaska here. Sales promotions, here comes the Groupon thing, here comes the coupons, here comes the rebates, the loyalty rewards. Every time you go into Freddy's, do you have your Freddy's card? Anybody got anything from Freddy's for that Freddy's card?
Not $5.
I've never gotten anything, so I don't even carry it
We get
anymore.
money off gas.
Yeah,
Gas?
Then
Okay, you can punch your phone number in and get your Freddy's card discount.
$500 in 2 months for them to send you anything.
You have to spend $500?
In 2 month period for them to send you anything.
Yeah, I get lots of
Well,
money.
you have 50 kids.
Depends on the frequency of the shop. Talk about cost.
Yeah, I bet they do.
Executive.
Costco's a different issue.
Executive.
Okay, the executive membership, you get that. So, but many of those things, the reason they're out there is because legally, they cannot track your purchases from your credit card number. Those are separate transactions. So what they're doing is trying to see exactly, Jason, what'd you buy? And let me track what you do. So eventually, if Freddie's got hip enough, the chip in your neck, as you walk down the aisle, the RFID reader reads you and they go, oh, it's Jason. And now the coupons just jump out in front of you. See the little coupon machines that go beep, 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 and a coupon jumps out? It knows you're there. Future stores they have laptops or flat screens in there. You punch in your code, it knows your demographic. You march down the aisle, beep, beep, and it beeps at you when products of your family would use.
Some clubs trying to do that, but they are doing a lame job at it.
I think that would be just disgusting, to have it. No, I had the chip removed a while back, and but it's coming. There is a what?
Somebody back here said and the ankle bracelet. Just repeat.
Yeah, I was able to get it off this morning. Okay, sales and promotion. Those are coming around. Can we utilize these things in our businesses? You buy so many, it's the Alaska Airlines mileage thing. And if you get living up here, you become addicted and become like really funky about earning miles. I don't pay cash for anything because number one, I want the track record for my taxes because I include everything, every purchase, and then I allocate it into a way that I can write off everything. So, see, there's an interesting thing that as a teacher, I find that I can, this is part of the games you play. Okay, you got your own businesses, so you're going to write off a portion of stuff over here, you get your businesses going.